As you talk sports, today we're talking boxing. Proudly joined for the first time on the channel by Fabio Wardley. How are you doing today?
I'm good, mate. How's things?
I'm good. So obviously, last time we were here, that was for the Fury and Ngannou and press conference, and you were also on the card against David Adelaide. There was a bit of a kick-off, and since then, you've come victorious. Can you talk to me a bit about that fight? I guess you're happy with your performance?
Yeah, really happy with the performance. I think that's probably the one of the best things about it was such a good performance, nice and controlled. Oh, I don't know if you're going to. Is it going to work?
I think you should be able to.
Yeah, it was a good performance. I boxed really well. We boxed exactly to the plan and how I wanted to. So I was happy that it all went according to plan, and then obviously the nice finish on the end as well.
Was it hard to take away the emotion? Because I'm guessing with everything, all the build-up, all the emotions, was it hard to control it, or did you find it not too hard in the ring?
There was little moments where I felt like just going off and kind of letting it all off, but I always knew that it's always better to hold on, get the job done first, and then once that's ticked off, then I can. To be honest, everyone then all forgets about all the fun and games before and all the faff. Like, the only thing that really matters at the end of the day is the win, and that's what I got.
And obviously, yesterday was the press conference for the Wilder and Joshua, their fights, and tonight is the Fury Usyk press conference. So the four big heavyweights are all tied up. Is it kind of frustrating that you're not involved in that? And obviously, it seems that they've got rematch clauses and all that. Where do you go from here? Who do you want to fight?
Yes and no. Like I'm happy as a fan because I'm getting the fights I want to see. As a boxer, yeah, I want to be in the mix, but I'm still a few steps behind them guys. So I'm not in no immediate positions or no immediate place to want to be in the mix. So I've still got my own time to work through, gain a bit more experience, and then by the time that's all done and ticked off, then boys will be ready to move on.
Are there any names who we can see you out against next?
I don't know. There's definitely no one set in stone. There's names being thrown around and things like that. There's Fraser Clark is obviously in the mix, and Sold Acres as well. So I think they're the most obvious two at the moment. That's if I choose to stay at British level, but we're just playing around with our options at the moment.
And definitely. Now in regards to this press conference, Fury versus Usyk, the big fight, undisputed. How do you see this fight going?
Yeah, it's a great fight, and it's hard to judge anymore because I think based off the pair of those previous performances, I think we were both left quite surprised by their performances for different reasons. So I think people who had kind of like a certain view of how this fight was going to go have been maybe thrown into the air a bit different. They're both very different opponents for each other than either of them are kind of faced in the past. So that will leave some room for a potential banana skin through either of them. So I'm not really sure anymore. It's kind of thrown a spanner in the works, especially for me. So I'm just kind of an interested fan waiting to see.
So what did you think of that Fury's performance since Ngannou? Do you think Ngannou was a lot better than everybody expected, or Fury was just on the decline, or was it just a bad night?
I think it was a bit of both. I think it was definitely a bit of both. I think Ngannou came out and surprised Fury, but everyone else as well, because I think we all thought he was just going to come out, be a bit big and stiff, and just try and throw massive shots, and then maybe even gas out after like 5 or 6 rounds or whatever. But he came out calm, cool, composed, put a nice boxing plan together, and came out and surprised Fury. So I think that mixed with maybe there's a hint of Fury underestimating him and taking him a bit lightly, not taking off all the things in training that maybe he needed to. But I don't think that'll be the same when he fights Usyk.
And obviously that performance saw Ngannou ranked in the top 10 of all heavyweights across all nationalities. Do you agree with that?
Plainly no. It's a strange one to be somehow a loss gets you a top 10 ranking. That doesn't make much sense. I don't know how that works, but it's up to the WBC to do that for themselves and figure that out between themselves. Like don't get me wrong, it was a great performance. He did really well, but ultimately he still lost. And I don't know how in a ranking system you then someone who is 0-1 is now top 10. That as some sort of mathematical equation to put together doesn't really make sense to me.
It's Ngannou. Obviously, Ngannou's a big draw now. Would you happily go in there with Francis?
Yeah, I think it'd be an interesting fight. Maybe later down the line when I've got some milestones for my own career to tick off first. But I'd be interested in those crossover fights later down the line, definitely.
Thank you very much for your time, Fabio. I really appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.